Hello and welcome to the TRBusiness video channel. I'm here with Jeffrey Davis, who is the Managing Director for International Beauty Brands. Is that correct?
That's
for
correct.
Lotte Duty
Yes.
Free?
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking time to meet us today.
You're
I'm
welcome.
really looking forward to talking about some issues and things. First off, I want to talk about the sort of trading environment and the trading performance of Lotte. Obviously, it's fair to say it was a challenging year previously, you know, last year, and also in a couple of years before that with the TAD dispute. It's been long running as well. So, but I know that speaking to other Korean companies, that there's definitely been an improvement.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd like you to say sort of how significant that improvement has been so far.
But the improvement's been by far much better than we thought. We did not anticipate this growth. Lotte did get hit twice. We got hit by that, and then we got hit by the missile being put on the golf course. So we were especially hit hard. But that only makes our numbers much bigger this year because we're anniversary very low numbers. So our numbers are quite significant. And we're enjoying them, and we think it's going to continue as the Chinese start coming back. Hopefully Intel says it will be December or January. So our growth has been almost, 40% plus. Growth. So it's been great. However, was not anticipated. So we're fighting and trying to get more stock into the stores. I think that's the biggest challenge for the brands, to have this kind of growth in Korea and sustain it.
In particular, actually, someone mentioned to me that a few of the liquor brands have actually mentioned the liquid shortage in some areas. I don't know if that's impacting.
Ours is more, the brands' issues are more packaging and bottles.
Right.
So they can make as much as they can, but the bottles and the packaging and the labels, there's very few manufacturers that do them.
Right.
So they've trying to do and keep up with capacity, but they just can't. So that's where the capacity issues are coming from.
We know that Lotte has lofty ambitions, and it obviously wants to drive its overseas business. It wants to expand. It wants to be everywhere, and also it wants to be global #1 duty-free and travel retail operator.
Yes.
How do you think yourself in your role is able to make that happen for the company? Obviously, short, medium, long term.
Well, as we talked a little bit earlier, that DFS currently today, Lotte Duty Free is the #1 duty-free operator, the actual duty-free business. We're the biggest volume in the world. When you look at the ranking, as far as combined businesses, we're ranked #2. We did come from #4, so we've moved up the ranks twice. And partial is from overseas, but a lot of it's internally in our business in Korea. And we've been really expanding our portfolio within Korea too. So it's not just what we have at airports, but our downtown stores, we're expanding spaces, the shopping environment's changing, we're gravitating more customers into our stores. So we've been doing a really good job at getting customers in Korea on top of the expansion internationally.
You mentioned just then, I guess aggressive marketing downtown, and that's partially due as a result of the exit from the loss-making contracts at Incheon Airport, which has been well reported. Just tell us a little bit more about that, sort of targeting customers and getting them into the downtown stores, and how you're doing that.
We anticipated that the loss of Incheon Airport would be a certain amount of business. So already within 6 months, we had a plan ahead of time. How are we going to get that business and not lose any of it? And it would go to the downtown business, and a lot of it would be online. So our online business has been growing, and we've actually exceeded our numbers. So losing Incheon Airport was not a deterrent on our business. So our business is still positive without Incheon Airport. It's just much more profitable now. So now we have a lot more money to actually renovate our stores and really make the customer's experience in our stores more exciting. It's just because of that extra money that we have in our pocket to play around with.
And footprint to an extent as well.
Yeah, footprint's amazing. And in marketing, so recently we just did a really great event for a lot of KOLs. We did a pool party. So it was a Lotte pool party. So we invited 2,000 of special guests, VIP customers, just to enjoy Lotte, and we had some DJs and some music and some bands, and it was just over-the-top experience for customers to understand the brand. So we are a brand, we're selling ourselves, and these KOLs Instagrammed and put pictures out everywhere. And so the hype is by far bigger than we thought. We have another event coming up for Halloween. So we're doing another KOL influencing party coming up, which is nothing to do with retail. It's just letting people know that we're a retailer, that we're not the same as everybody else. We have to differentiate ourselves from the market because there's too many players in the market today.
Of course, yeah. Transcending as you say, being a retailer and moving into more of a lifestyle brand. You mentioned, other players, stiff competition. Obviously, a way to eliminate some competition is to make some acquisitions. There's been some activity there. I know that there's been talks with other companies, but perhaps it's not come to fruition. How it's very challenging for a company such as Lotte, even though they're absolutely huge, to be able to make that influence in other regions such as the Americas, Europe. I mean, that is part of the strategy, right? Eventually.
There's always acquisitions and growth in other countries are the next step. How we do it and the right timing is the way we have to figure that out. So we're always looking at opportunities, always. I'm sure any company's doing that today. So we really have it dialed in Korea. We really understand the customer, how she shops, how the Chinese shop in our stores. We have an online business that's by far the best in the whole world as far as even local or TR. And that expertise, taking it to another country, is gold to them. So a lot of people are listening to what we're doing and they are embracing that strategy and they like it compared to some other operators that don't have the strength in those fields.
You're mentioning online, digital, innovation, obviously, which is what your role is all about. Tell us how. I mean, obviously, your role is also heavily beauty focused. Tell us how the beauty industry is kind of leaps and bounds ahead of some of the other product categories and some of your partnerships that you have at the moment.
The best thing about, I think, in this role, in this job, in anybody's business is to stop thinking like we did in the past. So any innovation you have is going to really drive to customers the way they're changing their shopping patterns. They're completely shopping differently today than they were 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. So we go to the brands and we really challenge them. We say, do not just put an event in our store. What is something that you've never thought about, something that is over the top, that sparks a customer's, it's like creating a whole new storytelling in her mind where she's just having an experience that she's never had before. So we did two things just recently. We did the first YSL Beauty Hotel in our store downtown. It was by far the biggest event I've ever seen. They spent almost $1.5 million on it. We spent almost the same amount. But the 230 million impressions was something you can't get from just a simple pop-up in a store. So those things like that that's going to drive our business. That's going to differentiate us from the marketplace. Customers look to you at Lotte, they look to us to say, what are they doing next? What's the next thing that's coming? And the brands are super excited about this because you can't compare it, you can't compete on price, you can't do this, you can't do this, but this is something they're really good at. They really know how to engage and excite customers. That's really what they want to do. Not just sell a product and it's a price. It's what's the experience? What am I getting out of this brand? And recently also, this weekend, we did a first live feed of a fashion show. So L'Oreal Paris did a fashion show, and we connected our e-commerce up, we connected Facebook up, we connected all the activations as far as social media, and they watched the fashion show to our customers in Korea and actually Japan or wherever they were where they're looking at it. And we had a lot of influencers throughout all of Asia watching this fashion show on our website. And in the future, it will be a place where you can actually buy stuff as you're watching the fashion show. So it's the future of travel retail, I think, is these new ways of doing business that no one's thought about. It's like, how do you take this customer and do something different? And that's how we're going to sustain this business going forward in the future.
So you must think, I guess, the critique which is often thrown at the duty-free and travel retail industry, that we are far behind and the digital isn't there, the online isn't there, the platforms aren't, compelling enough. You must find that more of a generalization and not, perhaps it doesn't apply. Very
generalized. I even, talking with a lot of travel retailers in the industry, there's just people that are further ahead. They have the capacity, they have the technology, they are really going after the business, and some are just a duty-free business. They're just selling product to customers. It will change and they will change. It's similar to how the Japanese were shopping a certain way 10 years ago. Now it's the Chinese. It's just following customers and reacting to how they're purchasing. The millennials are the most important thing today. Is everyone wants the millennial, but you can't just sell her something. She's going to tell you how she wants to buy it, and it's all through social media. So if you don't adapt, you will not be relevant in the business. So the people like us at Lotte, we will be number one because we are adapting immediately the ways she's shopping, her patterns. So you have to jump on those key trigger points for the customer.
And part of the, being able to keep up with trends is obviously being agile as a business. As we know, a lot of the brands that are doing well, or retailers that are doing well online, are those that can, get the latest trend in the next week. It's different from week to week even. And that's very difficult to make that happen, especially in duty-free and travel retail, to have something that was on the catwalk last week in Milan and have that sort of replicated by another brand, or similar in a similar vein, and have that in the store the week after. And yet there are some e-commerce giants that are able to make that happen.
That might be a little tricky because you're not going to get things immediately, but a lot of customers aren't looking for that. They're looking for experiences too. So if we can give her an experience, like the L'Oreal Paris fashion show happened in a month. It's unheard of to do something that fast. Usually it takes a year to plan it and execute it. But we knew this was time sensitive, and we said we have to do this. This is the future of travel retail, and we did it. And everyone got it behind it. So if you think it's really important for the customer, you make it happen. There's no doubt. And you have to make the extra effort. But if there's things that you don't really need to, and it's big, like the YSL thing, took a year. So we planned it a year ago, and it was executed because it was so massive. But it was very edgy too. So we didn't lose anything in the timeline.
One last question, I promise. A lot of people ask us, we ask other people about what the future of duty-free and travel retail is going to look like. It's a very open question. There has been some suggestion that it will move away from a transactional environment at the heart, at the core. You don't actually make the transaction in the store at all. It will simply be where it would be almost like a gallery, where you're able to try things on. Use the magic mirror technology and beauty, and then you make purchases at another time, or you maybe click a button and then it's done. How do you feel about that interpretation of what duty-free and travel retail could
I think
be
it's a mixture of both, to be honest. I think we could have a virtual reality store, but that's no fun in it. You need to have both. So we were talking with some brands recently where I want that technology where there's a button you can push, it looks at your face and it tells you what skincare you need, which is great, and then you can push on it and it automatically gets bought on your Weibo or on your cell phone. But you also need consultation for a different customer. So we want to talk to many different customers. We want to just treat one customer the same for the whole brand. We want to treat every different customer separately. So these storytelling is really important in the store, in the shop, and it could just be mobile and that's it, and it's a virtual showroom, but that's not fun. So we want to be able to do both. So even today we were talking, literally a brand today, and said, I want this digital experience, and I want this for one customer, because this is how the millennials shop, but I also want it for the X or the Y generation, where they wants to sit down and find out what the brand is. So you need both in the store to have excitement.
Well, it's been really, really great talking to you. Thank you for your perspectives on the industry, and good luck with everything going forward. I'm sure there's a lot in the pipeline.
Yeah, you'll see a lot coming. Yeah, there's a lot on the pipeline for sure.
I look forward to hearing about it soon. Thank you.
Thank you.